Okay, so before we begin, I would like to greet every single woman out there a happy and empowering as well as marvelous International Women's Day, and also to every single member of the Carol Corp a happy, release date, because today is also the worldwide premiere of Captain Marvel. Now, there are some countries, mine included, who got an earlier release date than the rest of the world, and for that I feel lucky. But for those who have yet to watch Captain Marvel, the Carol Corps members of those countries that are just premiering the movie right now, I hope you enjoy the movie. No, not hope. I know you're gonna enjoy the movie. I know you're gonna go in there and feel as empowered as I did. I know that you're gonna love the movie as well, because there's so many things about that movie to discuss. But again, since this is just the first day of the premiere, worldwide premiere release date for the movie, I'm not gonna go and talk about anything that's spoilery. But anyways, what's up Dreamer Tribe, what's up world, I am Bianca and welcome to our 5 Things Friday video. Alright, if the title of this video alone isn't any indication, then maybe my, jacket or hoodie that I'm wearing is, because again, this is another Captain Marvel video, or something that's a video that's inspired by Captain Marvel, since this week's 5 Things Friday topic is going to be the 5 things I love about Captain Marvel. And we're not talking just about, we're not just talking about the character Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers, that Captain Marvel, not the other Captain Marvel. But yeah, we're not just talking about her character, we're talking about the movie itself. Now, this list is basically the list of things that I loved about the Captain Marvel movie as, a member of the Carol Corps, a fan who waited for 5 years since the announcement of the movie's production for, this movie to come out. And I think that if you're on the fence about watching this movie, if you're one of those people listening to, reviews before you watch the movie, then I would suggest, when it comes to movies like this, that you listen to what the actual fans of whatever that movie is based upon, what they're saying, rather than, random reviewers or entertainment magazine stuff, because sometimes even those people, they don't really know what makes that particular character tick, and as fans I believe that we do. So when I say that I approve of this movie, I'm saying that as someone who is a fan of the series. Now, before I actually forget, and before we begin, the actual list, I would just like to say an unbelievably large, humongous, incredible thank you to whomever is a kind soul, a beautiful soul, who sent me these, because I got this in a package addressed to me. There is no other address in that package, no other name except for mine and my address. So whoever gave me the Ultimate Guide, Entertainment Weekly's Ultimate Guide to Captain Marvel, I haven't read it yet because I was planning to read it tonight, but it is 96 something pages that is all about Captain Marvel, and also Marvel's Power of a Girl book. It's basically a filled with all the female heroes found in the Marvel universe, and I'm just so thankful to whomever gave me this. I wish you left a note in there to let me know, because I can't thank you enough. I was planning to buy, this Entertainment Weekly magazine, but when I was, checking, I was in the process of checking the item out. It got sold out, and I was pretty bummed about that. And I think I don't remember if I tweeted about it, but whomever sent me these two books about superheroes, particularly my superhero Captain Marvel, then thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to me, how that made me feel. I think I have an image that basically captures everything that I felt when I opened. It's over here. When I opened, the package. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, thank you so much, whomever you are. If you can, send me a line so that I can know who you are and thank you properly. But anyways, now that that's said, out of the way, let's begin with the actual list of the 5 things I love about Captain Marvel. So yeah, on number 5, it is the soundtrack and the production of the movie. Now, when it comes to the soundtrack of this movie, what Marvel Cinematic Universe movie reminded me of in terms of how perfect the songs were when it comes to the scenes they were used in is Thor Ragnarok. It's that kind of fun movie when it comes to, the movie's soundtrack.
Grunge is a good look for you.
And as for the production value, the reason why I liked it so much is because this movie is set in the 90s, and everything about this movie speaks 90s, right down to the clothes that everyone's wearing, what gadgets they have, the shops in the movie. How people are, those are spot on. They have so many references in the 90s that if you lived in that era or born in that era, then you would feel nostalgic about it. Now that's just for the scenes, on Earth. There are other scenes, elsewhere, because Captain Marvel is basically the queen of the universe. But yeah, there's outer space scenes, there are scenes from other planets, and the set pieces for those are just so amazingly done. The CGI for those places are so incredibly well done. It's a Marvel movie. You can expect that about Marvel movies. Just from the face, they made Samuel L. Jackson younger in this movie, like what they did with Ant-Man 2, and how their faces look, you would not be able to differentiate what a program was able to do and what is actually their look when they were younger. It's just that good. Although there is a couple of scenes, one in particular that I could think of right off the bat, there's just one scene that the CGI, it just shows, that you can tell that it's a CGI scene, but it's just one scene, and I think it just lasted for like 3 to 4 seconds tops. But overall, the production value of this movie is just so amazing. It's basically what a fan would have hoped for, maybe even more, when you see the pages of the comic book you've read for so long come to life, and for that alone, it's worth seeing. But yeah, that is my number 5 pick in the 5 things I love about the Captain Marvel movie. Alright, so number 4. Number 4 is the story of the movie. Now, some reviewers might disagree with me on this because they would think that it's a little bit rushed, and in some aspects it is, but at the same time, with the lens of the movie that is allotted to it, I think that the story is pretty well done. There are a number of twists in it, like how Marvel likes to do things, maybe even better than how they did in the past. There are a couple of story elements that you would not have guessed.
You won't last a week. Further. They'll never let you fly. Faster. This isn't a game for little girls. Give it up.
There are a lot of revelations if you've watched, the 10 years of worth of Marvel movies, there are a couple of revelations that sort of led to those movies. I wish I could expound on that some more, but again, I do not wish to spoil anything about this movie, because once I start about one particular thing in here, it sort of takes away the surprise for those who are planning to watch the movie. And basically, as a moviegoer myself, I myself would not wish for anyone to spoil anything about this movie, so I'm keeping my mouth shut, because I don't want to spoil it for you guys as well. But yeah, the story isn't as bad as some people make it out to be, or some of those reviews make it out to be.
War is a universal language. I know a renegade soldier when I see one.
Also, how they handled most of the characters is just so wonderful. The secrecy, the reason I think that most, if not all, Marvel movies succeed is because they manage to veil everything about their movie in this mysterious fog that once you think you know what's going to happen, but then when you actually watch it, it will surprise you. And the same could be said, even maybe more so in this movie than all the other, like the only movie that's sort of in the same level of shock value level that I can think of is Endgame. And that's just for me, because again, I know the comics of the Captain Marvel comics, and what they did here is just so incredible that even those who actually know the comics would be surprised. Basically, that's all I want to say. Again, I'll just make an actual review about this movie when, I think next week, probably, when I'm sure that a majority of the people have watched the movie, or the majority of the people who will stumble upon this video have watched the movie. But yeah, my number 4 pick for the things I like about Captain Marvel is its story. So when I decided to make this video, one of the first things that came into mind as I'm writing the list and preparing stuff for this video is actually what is the third on this list, and that is Goose the cat. Now, as I've said, this little guy, as I've said, I wouldn't say he stole the show, but he nearly did, basically. And I'm reiterating the fact that his star shined as brightly as Brie Larson's did. And the thing is, in this movie, again, I know the comics, so I knew basically what Goose is and what he can do, and stuff like that, stuff that's already shown and told in the comics about him. And I was anticipating the moment that everyone was saying, because there are people who watched the show prior to it being premiered in all the countries, and even before the earlier countries who watched it, they actually had a sort of a test screening thing, and those people who came out of that test screening, they all said one thing in common, and that's Goose stole the show. And so I went into the movie wondering what Goose could possibly have done in order to, be labeled as someone who stole the movie. And although I have a little bit of an idea of what that could be, I didn't really expect the movie to show it that way. And how the Captain Marvel movie handled that, how they made Goose shine, is just so much fun to watch. It's so funny to watch. I actually thought about getting a cat because of it. I want to own a cat and name him Goose. Like, I want a cat like Goose, basically. A cat that looks like Goose. I don't think I can handle if I actually have something like Goose in my house, that would be awesome. That would be both awesome and terrifying, you know, at the same time. But yeah, when I made this list, I immediately thought about Goose. He is actually one of the things that I wrote down my list first. And that's basically it. And also, how can you not like Goose? How can you not add him to the list of things that you could possibly love about this movie? He is so adorably cute.
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute?
And I'm not even that much of a cat person. I'm a dog person, and I want to get a cat because of Goose. Now, the second thing on my list of things that I loved about the Captain Marvel movie isn't really something that hard to think about, because it's really one of the things that made the movie as fun, exciting, exhilarating, and as wonderful as it is, and that is the chemistry of the cast. In particular, the four main cast, well, five if you count Goose, of the movie. And I think most especially the chemistry between Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson, between Carol and Nick Fury. And
What is this?
The SHIELD logo.
Does announcing your identity on clothing help with the covert part of your job?
Said the space soldier who was wearing a rubber suit.
the fact is that Nick Fury in this movie, he isn't like the Nick Fury that we have come to know and love and maybe even admire at times, maybe even most of the time. But yeah, he is a pretty different character in this movie, and this Nick Fury is something that I really like, especially with how he is with people. He is pretty interesting character in this one, and also how, you know, the four characters that I'm talking about, by the way, not including Goose, are Talos, Maria, Carol, and of course Nick Fury. Now, every single scene, as I've said in my, you know, my movie-going experience video, every single one of the scene where those four are together, those are perhaps my favorite scenes, not counting again those moments where Carol was being her badass sassy self. Those are immediately, you know, scenes that I have categorized as my favorite scenes. Now, having said that, however, even those scenes between Jude Law and, you know, Brie Larson, those are amazing as well. Even the other cast, you know, Jaima Chan and the other members of the Star Force, they don't have that much screen time, so I can't really say that they are as great as the chemistry of the four characters that I have mentioned previously. But in the scenes where they are, there's sort of an authenticity to their acting, to, you know, how each group performed, and I just love that. And I really wish that if there's going to be a sequel, that they would be in it, because there's so many things to say about Star Force and every single character in that side of the story. So yeah, the chemistry of the characters here, it's just fantastic. You gotta love this movie for that as well, and that's the reason why I added it as my number 2, because the chemistry, it filled the entire movie. There's chemistry in the entire movie when it came to the characters and what they did. And you know, I just love those interactions. I lived for those moments, especially the moments where, you know, Carol and Nick were bantering.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
The scenes with Talos in it, Talos is a fantastic character in this movie. Ben Mendelsohn really nailed it in this one, and how he acts off with the other characters is just way too precious. So yeah, that's my number 2 pick of the 5 things that I loved about the Captain Marvel movie. And now we have come to the number one on the list. And if you guys have been paying attention, you would know what that number one is. And that is, of course, Brie Larson herself. I love her in this movie. I love her in all of the movies I think that I have seen her in, like in Scott Pilgrim. I love that in King Kong. I loved her in that as well. In Room as well. And Brie Larson is a fantastic actress. She's an award-winning actress. She has won the Oscar, for those who don't know. So she did pretty amazing in this, marvelous even. And you know, I really, when they were casting, or when they were looking for, you know, who to cast as Captain Marvel, I couldn't really say who I wanted that to be. I couldn't think right, you know, at that moment who I want them to cast as Captain Marvel, who I feel should be Captain Marvel. I'm really happy that they cast, you know, I was gonna say Carol Danvers, that they cast Brie Larson, because she is Captain Marvel. You know, she embodies who Captain Marvel is, and how she portrayed Carol in this is just, it just felt right. It was just so perfect, and really there's nothing I could complain about when it comes to her being, you know, Captain Marvel, being Carol Danvers. Everything I liked about Carol, I find in Brie Larson.
I've never seen anything like her.
You think you can find others?
She's just the beginning.
Brie's just perfect, really. And she's also witty. She's sassy. She's just amazing. I'm a fan of Brie Larson, you know. And even more so now. Like, there could not have been a perfect person to portray Carol Danvers. There isn't anyone else, I think, who would fit that bill so perfectly. It's like this role was made for Brie Larson, basically. And again, she did pretty well. She trained so hard for this. I feel like at the span of the production of this movie that she breathed, or like she basically became Carol Danvers. I think that's it. And also, you know, how she decided to market this, how she decided to be vocal about things that she believed in, irregardless of what people may say, or irregardless of what haters may throw.
Higher, further, faster. I'm kind of done with you telling me what I can't do.
I support her for what she did, you know, and I will be forever a fan of her, not just because she is Captain Marvel. She is just amazing. Like, I've been watching so many so many of her interviews after watching Captain Marvel, because I couldn't get enough of the movie and of her. And the more I watched her, the more I really, you know, if there's a Brie Larson fan club, sign me up in that. If I'm not yet already, you know, if there's an actual official fan club, I want to be in that. But yeah, Brie Larson is just fantastic in this movie. She's perfect. There's really nothing else I can say about Brie being Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers, apart from that she embodies basically Carol Danvers. And I'm really glad that she is a person who gets to play, you know, my favorite superhero on the silver screen.
Prove you're not a Skrull.
That's a photon blast.
And?
A Skrull cannot do that.
I'm just supposed to take your word for that.
And there you guys have it, my 5 things, or the 5 things that I loved about the Captain Marvel movie. And I just realized I wasn't wearing my earrings, so that's why my ears felt light. So yeah, what about you guys? Have you watched Captain Marvel? Have you enjoyed it? Did you feel as emotional as I did? Are you a member of the Carol Corps? And if so, if you have watched it, then what are the 5 things that you loved about the movie? I would like to know. Just, share those on the comment section below. And I just think that we passed the 20-minute mark on this video, so I'm gonna end it right here. Again, thank you all for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do hit the subscribe button. It's already, at the time of this recording, March 7th, and I still have a long way to go in order to reach my 750 subscriber goal before March, and so I would really appreciate it if you guys can help me, please do, with that. And well, that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever new videos come out. I always forget about that. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye-bye now. What's up, Dreamer Tribe? What's up, world? I am Bianca, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content of this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button to let me know. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to be a part of the Dreamer Tribe, just hit on that subscribe button. We also have tons of different content here on my channel, so be sure to check those out. Until the next video, dream on, fly on.